November. And it's been a month. It's been a month since I put out a video. And it is a time when things are slowing down a bit, which isn't an excuse, but I know a lot of people are really busy planning their winter garden and what should be done with the winter garden, but I'm not one of those people. I'm someone who is trying to keep up with what I need to be doing now. But one of the reasons I haven't been down so much is I had an accident. Basically I fell. I was alright, I fell, but my knees were a bit stiff and I bruised my thumb and I cut that hand, so my fine motor skills were a bit limited, so but I'm okay, I didn't cry, I was very, very good. But back to normal, if you believe in normal. But what it means today is I am actually going to have to wander around with a glove on my hand to protect those wounds. And you know I don't like wearing gloves in the garden. You know, the fact they're gloves, they may as well be mittens. I just feel really restricted with those on, so I'm limiting it to one where I need to. But yeah, it looks a bit Michael Jackson. Anyway, I am going to plant some garlic. I found some bulbs in the shed, so I'll be putting the last of my bulbs in. And we'll just have a look round and a catch up, because it'll probably be quite different from when you last looked round. Okay? So come back to you in a bit. This is what happens when you don't come down for a couple of weeks and you forget that you've actually put things in the greenhouse in pots, and because they're in the greenhouse they need watering. But still, if you look at this, oh yeah, let's not look at that one. If you look at, oh look, where are you? These ones, they're not too bad. So I think we are still going to, where's my hand? There I am. We're going to get another crop of chilies. In fact, today, before I go home, I'm going to get out my beloved snips and snip away and see how many we've got, because I must admit I started the season not being a chilli fan, but I think that's because I've always thought of them as overbearingly hot. Look at these, you see, they're sweet, they're just the right size. But now that I'm using them properly, i.e. not using the seeds, I can appreciate the flavour a bit more. And I know they're only small, but for me that is perfect, and it's just adding that lovely bit of warmth to whatever I put them in. Anyway, yeah, I'm going to get my snips out and cut these. I'm pleased with them. It's a discovery. I thought I'd do a bit of a David Bellamy shot here from inside the kale jungle. Look how well it's doing. And you know what, this frost that we've had, well, plus the fact that Mike's been dousing them with soapy water, seems to have got rid of, oh, here go my knees, the canopy. Oh, look at that. It seems to have got rid of the whitefly, because if I'd done this not too long ago, I'd have been surrounded by a cloud of confused whitefly, but it's looking good now actually, so God, that's going to keep us going through the winter, isn't it? It's looking really, really good. Well done, kale. I've even found a couple of tiny sprouts. Now, okay. People often put their hand next to things for a size comparison. Look at that. That's my fingertip, the size comparison of a sprout. Yeah, they're not very big. They're bijou sprouts. But give them time. We didn't get any last year, so quite pleased with those. Here's a treat. I don't know if you remember, but last time I was down I planted the broad bean seeds that Alan gave me. Alan of the Tremendous Squash, and they've all come up. Well, at least this double row, I can't see that there's any gaps, to be honest. Maybe one or two, but we've certainly got some spare seed we can put in. And there's another double row over here. Oh, sideways step. And back down again. Few more gaps in this one. It might be down to pigeons more than viability of the seed, because as you can see, I foolishly haven't got them covered over yet. But yeah, really pleased with that. I absolutely love broad beans. So thank you, Alan. It's looking good. Okay, I'm here in the greenhouse, and one of the things I haven't done yet, and I was a bit worried about doing, to be honest, is plant my garlic, because all our alliums last year got blight. So that's the leeks, the garlic and the onions. And the sad thing was they'd just been plonked in all different areas of the garden, so we didn't even have like one area for the alliums, like if you were doing proper crop rotation, so we could avoid that area this year. So I really didn't think I'd be able to. Oh, hello. Oh, look who's come to see us. There you go. Lovely. So I didn't think I'd be able to grow them, because pretty much there's not many areas left where we could put them that they haven't been. So, he's either a cheeky spider or I've unleashed a spider's nest, because there he is again. Do you see him? Smile on candid camera. There we go, let's put him outside. Oh no, I'll be awful if I stood on him now. Okay, however, after having watched Graham over at Graham's Kitchen Garden, if you have not visited Graham yet, do go. He's from several generations of gardeners, and the way he talks is so accessible, so easy to understand. That sounds awful. Yeah, cut that bit. Okay, go and see Graham. He's brilliant. He knows what he's on about. He's come from generations of gardeners, as I say, and he had a top tip for planting garlic. I'll put the link to Graham below. He said, don't give them anything fancy via the compost, but you can actually plant them in, where are they? I'm sorry for sniffing, it's cold weather starting. In, these might be too small actually, but little pots, one clove in each one, and that will grow a garlic for you, which is brilliant, because that means I can actually, well, I can keep them in the greenhouse, to be honest. They don't need any attention once they've been in. Once they've been in, had a good water, they don't like to get soggy, so it's a case of I can move them round, so they don't have to be where other alliums have been. I do hope that makes sense. I'm going to shut up and I'll show you what I'm doing. Anyway, so I've got some spent compost. Now this is from the greenhouse, and it had the tomatoes in this year. Now my tomatoes did get blight. You can see that it's full of roots. But the tomatoes did get blight, but blight shouldn't transfer to alliums. Should it? I don't know. So I've got that there, but to lighten it, I thought I had some vermiculite, but we haven't. It turned out it was fish blood and bone, and that would have been a completely different story. So I thought, what can I use to lighten the soil and add to the drainage? And so I've been up to the fruit cage, and all those spent hops that we put on probably this time last year, I mean, there's nothing in them now. They've just acted as a perfect mulch. I'm going to put some of them in. I thought if I mix some of that in, hopefully, oh crikey, I'm thinking now, will that add to drainage? Or will that act like a sponge? Anyway, I'm doing it. I'm only going to try this with one head of garlic just to see if it works. Okay, so I've got my spent compost. I have got a little bit of soil from the plot. I'm just going to mix it round. I love doing this. It's almost like making bread, but you don't have to clear up all the sticky stuff afterwards. Right, okay. So that's a mix of that. My pots, I'm going to go for the slightly, shall I go for the larger ones? Yeah, go for the larger ones. Oh, no, that's fine. I haven't got any extra drainage in the bottom. I'm just going to put them in, and I'm just going to show you. Graham made it look really easy. I'm going to have to take my gloves off to do this. Hold on, I'm coming through. This is, I'll just do this one. One early purple white garlic. We plant one each deep. It says free draining fertile soil. Well, we're not very fertile, but there we go. Blah de blah, blah de blah. Yeah, 1 inch deep, and it's to plant in the autumn. So I'm just in time to do this. Because I can do this with the gloves on. I may as well be wearing mittens. But needs must. Anyway, here I have it. A head of garlic. I know for many years I'd call that a clove of garlic, and much of my cooking was very, very garlicky, because it would call for a clove of garlic and I'd put the whole thing in. Never mind, I do like it. Ooh, that's looking a bit funny. This is the tricky bit. If anyone out there has got an easier way of doing this, I couldn't have done this last week because I had a dodgy thumb as well. Oh, there we go. There we go. Let's break a few of them up so you can see this. You know what garlic looks like. That's what this looks like. Very nice. This was from, oh, it's just the garden centre up the road. One day someone will invent a special thing for separating garlic cloves. It could be me. I think what you need is a decent working thumb, and this one's still a bit bruised. Right, okay. As you all know, that is a garlic clove. Top, bottom, quite important, that bottom bit, it doesn't look anything there. Look at my garlic's bottom. But that's where all the roots come from, so we want to try not to damage that. It's quite difficult to damage it, but all I'm going to do is put my finger in the pot. I should have my gloves back on. And then pop it in, about 1 inch deep. That's it. That's it. What a long-winded way of showing you how to put a clove of garlic in a pot. But there we are. We have got garlic in a pot. I think I will keep them in the green. Oh, mind you, they like cold, don't they? Again, Graham does his video is all about stratification and what that does for the clove. So yeah, go and watch him do it. And yeah, basically, fill. Dib. Repeat. That's it. Okay, get a little production line of those going, and you will have garlic, hopefully blight free, next year. So there it is. I don't know how many cloves there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 14 cloves of early purple white. I've decided to put them here in the greenhouse. If anybody thinks it's a bad idea, please let me know. Again, that's the beauty of having them in pots, we can just move them. But I think they'll be okay. Something I did forget to do, and Graham swears by this, he always waters his compost before he pots anything up. I think I'm right there. Graham. And I didn't. So my compost was actually very dry. So I have watered it, and I've actually watered it from the top. But it's actually sitting on soil, if you can see. So it should drain quite easily. It's not going to be sitting in the water. So anyway, wish me luck. Let's hope next year we might have some not blight, just decent garlic. I tell you what, putting it in next to the basil here, we've still got basil growing in the greenhouse. The smell is fantastic. So even though it's an icy cold November day, you can think ahead to next summer with the basil and the garlic and the tomatoes. Oh, I wish. Right. Wilko's bulbs, can't go wrong. 10 for £1.75, and these are Triandrus Talia. Aren't they beautiful? They only grow short, it says bulb size 10 to 12. Oh, flowering height 10 inches. Well, I didn't know that. I thought they were going to be very sweet little ones. Well, I hope they're going to be okay in this very shallow pot I've got them. I've got the hops, which I am going to have just in. I haven't got any crocks in, so you can all go, they're going to die. I don't know what's wrong with me today. It's the injury. I have my magic bulb planting compost that I got reduced for £1. Free draining compost for dry, healthy bulbs. Okay, that'll do me. And actually, you know what? Look at that, that is so wet. But it's going in. This is what I mean when I say I don't mind getting my hands dirty. I really would rather do this without gloves on. Got to keep that one out of the way. There goes a plane. I wonder where that's going. I think it makes it sound summery when you hear planes go by. Like that. I think people are going on the holidays. Right, you know what? I'm going to mix some of this dry stuff in as well. If anyone wants to report me for the Royal Society of Protection, how would it be? Royal Society for the Protection of Cruelty to Bulbs. Feel free. Okay, I'm in that sort of mood. There we go. Mix a bit more in. Can you hear that? You're probably picking up the tables squeaking a lot there as well. There we go. Crumble it up. Give it a little mix with my one hand. And this is all we do. What does it actually say with these? At least I don't have to split them like the blooming garlic clove. Let's see. Sun or partial shade. Well, they are going to be put around with the other bulbs behind the shed, so that's going to be partial shade. Planting depth 3 inches. Do you think I'll do it? Again, same as with the garlic. Roots come out of there. Shoot, comes out of there. Dib, dib, dib. I'm going to put 5 in here, I think. Right. It sounds like a rusty old bed, doesn't it? I'm going to do, yeah, I always like to put an odd number in. So 1, oh, that's got a little shoot coming out. Go down. Yes. Actually, you know what? I think I'm only going to be able to fit 4 in here. Oh, I'll go for one. I'll go for it. These bulbs are bigger than I thought because I thought the plant size was 10 to 15 centimetres, but it turns out it's the bulb size. I'm really trying to do this quietly so the staging stops squeaking, but no good. They might be too shallow, so I'm going to top them up. They might be, I don't know, I might put them in the wrong place. But you know what? The thing I love about bulbs, and what I found out this year, is that, how quick was that to do? Assuming it works. That's exactly how I did the ones last year, and the display, as I've said before, was just absolutely fantastic. There we go. I'm going to put a couple of tags on them. I'm not going to water those because that soil's damp enough and they are going to go straight outside. So that's it. That is my Triandrus Talia. Done. Another couple of new bulbs for next year. Fingers crossed. Mittens crossed. And here in the fruit cage you can see everything's been dealt with. Dealt with sounds awful. The raspberries have been cut right down. We did reckon there must be autumn fruiting because we got all our fruit in the autumn. So they have, applying that fantastic logic, they've been cut right down now. But what I am a bit worried about doing, and anyone who watched me last year or in the spring ceremoniously cutting off all this year's crop of currants and gooseberries, it's pruning my currants and gooseberries because they fruit on the old wood. So what I've done is I've left most of them. What I've done is I've chopped back any whippy bits. See if I can show you any better. You can see they're still going strong here, look. But what else do I do with them? Look at this. Can you see this? This is the mic because it's hanging off. Look at that. There we go. What can I do with those? Do I chop the Surely I've got to chop those down a bit more. Any advice at all on pruning blackcurrants? I know I can Google it, but I do trust what other people say on these forums. So let me know, what would you do with those? What you can also see here is, the mulch that we put down this year. I'm trying to do that without letting go of that. Which is this fantastic hops. If you've got a brewery near you, ask them for their spent hops. They smell like billio when you first put them down, but that has just rotted down, and it's just been a fantastic mulch. Well, you can see there's the odd weed in here, but the crop of raspberries that we got was just fantastic, so it obviously didn't do them any harm. And yeah, you can see all around, you can see where I've been ferreting around, digging up some for planting my bulbs. But yeah, top tip. I know people talk about coffee grounds as a mulch, but if you can put up with the beery smell, which is actually quite pleasant, go to your local brewery and ask for some spent hops. Now, you might think, why has Jane not taken that bean wigwam down yet? Well, I'm going to tell you why. You can see these are all the other beans that we pulled up, which will get dug in, I promise they will get dug in, into the soil, because I believe that it's just as good, well, even better than turning the roots back into the soil is put the stems and everything in as well. So it's just a case of trying to chop that up a bit. But I'm going to have a little experiment. These were the pea beans off Brian, Brian Bastable. They have been absolutely glorious. Easy to grow, easy to harvest, lovely. But what I'm going to do, I'm leaving them in, because apparently, and I think this is true with all beans, or certainly most beans, they're perennial. So I'm going to leave the frames in to show us where they are, obviously, because all this will die back as any perennial. But I might put some straw or something around the base and just see if oh look, there's some I missed there. I'll take those. No, I won't. I'll come back. And just see if they come again next year. I mean, I've got seeds anyway to go in for next year, but wouldn't that be great if they do like a second year's cropping? Let me know if any of you have done that. As I say, they are perennial, so money. So you wouldn't think there was too much of a problem. I think we just all too readily chop them down and start again. But yeah, I'm going to try with those, see what happens. It's nice to be able to take that wretched thing off. I don't like wearing gloves. And the thing is, I know you can get those latexy ones that are like very, I don't know, skin tight. You see people wearing them, but I'm allergic to it. So that'd be even worse. So anyway, thank you glove, for doing your job. That's it really today. I've waffled on about garlic, I've waffled on about planting some bulbs, and it's just been a very quick look around. I mean, the thing is, it hasn't felt, if you ask anyone, I would say anyone in the UK, but I don't know, I can only speak from Staffordshire's point of view, it hasn't felt at all like winter's creeping up, because it's been so blooming warm. We've had the most beautiful October, which apparently, I found this out recently, the reason the leaves have been so vibrant this year on the trees is and they have, there's photographs of the beautiful autumn colours everywhere, is because we've had such a dry October. So the trees have been hanging on to the leaves for a little bit longer, so we're getting to see them turn that much more. That might be Jane's science. I don't know where I've heard it from, I've got nothing to justify it at all, but I have heard it, I think. Anyway, but it has been absolutely beautiful, so it hasn't really felt like winter at all. However, the last couple of nights, quite a lot of us have had ground frost, and it's been very cold. So hence, layers back on now, loads of layers. I mean, when it's sunny like this, once you're out, it's just beautiful. The light is gorgeous. But yeah, you suddenly realise really nice actually. There's still quite a lot to do in the garden. So what else have I done? That's it really. I mentioned Graham before from Graham's Kitchen Garden. Do go over and have a look. He puts loads of videos out and he really knows his stuff. Okay, so as I say, I'll put the link below. If you have got, as I've asked earlier on, if you've had any experience growing beans on a perennial basis, let me know. Or do you think me just leaving those beans in is a fool's errand? It might well be. Other things I'm going to certainly be coming down and doing later on in the week, because it is turning cold now at nights. I'm going to be digging up the geraniums. I might dig up my dahlias. I might leave them in. Again, it was such a mild winter last year that a lot of people got away with leaving the dahlias in. So if I do leave them in the ground, I'll make sure that I cover them with something, give them a little bit of protection. But I'll probably just dig them up. And yeah, I've got nothing else to say. It feels really strange saying that this is the end of the video, because usually I've got a whole load of stuff to take home with me, and all I had was one radish, and I've eaten that walking round. I haven't even had any raspberry. Oh, cut the raspberries down, that's why. So yeah, I'm going home empty-handed, but with a full heart, because it is lovely. It's still lovely coming down here. Anyway, at the risk of waffling on far too much, I'm going to ceremoniously place this glove back in the shed, and hopefully next time that'll be sorted out, and I'll be able to get my fingers back in the soil. Okay, hope you've enjoyed the video. Thank you to all my subscribers. Thank you for all your comments. It's always lovely to hear what you've got to say, and have a lovely week. Okay, thank you. Bye.